All right, on an ABB, on the parameters for the motors that we're going to do, we're going to get into the menu called press menu, and we're going to go to assistance. And what that will end up doing is setting up the actual parameters we want on our motors. I can see your problem with the glare off of the sun down there in New Caledonia. Okay, so we want to go to Startup Assistant, which is the first on the menu scroll. So press select, and then what we're going to do is say, do you want to select the assistant? Press OK. In English or French, either way it'll tell you. So you can scroll up or down. And it will tell you up or down, so we'll go in English, press save, and then the motor that we're using on here on this motor is 230 volts, but your motors are 380 volts, so we would set that to 380 volts. So scroll up or down for that, but we're going to set it, leave it at 230 here. Okay, and the motor, the first motor, the big blower motor, is about 20 amps, so you can set that up for 20 amps. Okay, and then save. And then the hertz on this motor here is 60 hertz, but yours will be 50 hertz. But we're going to leave ours at 60 hertz, just because we will fire it up. And there we go, save. Then our motor RPM will actually go all the way up to 3,400 RPM as well as yours. So we're gonna just we're gonna leave it at 31. Okay, and the horsepower is 7.5 horse on this motor as well as yours. So leave it at 7.5. Okay, then we don't need any more parameters, so now all we need to do is skip and exit. So an exit again, we're back out, and then we have RPM left on the screen as we programmed it before. Up in this corner here has a hertz reading, okay, and that relates with speed. This is what you will set when you find the actual speed that you like for delivering the feed, and what it relates to is the RPM. So we're going to crank that up to 13 and then hit go, and then see the RPM go up. So we're running at 670 RPM, which makes no sense. And hertz is 13.4, and as the hertz go up in the corner, RPM goes up. With the big motor, you're going to want to run it at close to 3,000 RPM, and can go up or down depending on how it's delivering your feed. All right, now the small motor, going through the same steps, we're going to be setting the small motor that delivers the feed down to smaller parameters, because it's a smaller motor, but it's a gear driven motor, so 1450 RPM on the motor will actually be geared down to 34 RPM on the feed drive. That's where it gets confusing, because we actually have to set the motor to 1450 RPM as your maximum, so that you can actually spin the feed motor down to 34 RPM, because it's geared down. Okay, now so you go through the assistant again when you go into it, and now he's setting the motor for 230 volts again. Save. Our motor our amperage for that smaller motor is only 9.5 amps. So he'll set that down to 9.5 amps. And the hertz will be 50 hertz. We're leaving ours at 60. And the RPM will be turned all the way down to 1450 RPM. And when we get that set, then that will be the max that that motor can run at. So we can't over rev it and blow things up. Alright, and the horsepower rating on that motor is half a horsepower, 0.5.
This one won't go that. This one won't go that far. This well. Yeah. It won't go any lower on this motor.
Okay, yeah, because it's set for a big motor. Okay, and then that's the way it would be, and then you exit out, and then you just have your RPM rating, and it's a beautiful thing because then there's nothing else to confuse. So when you start her up, it just goes up. Good. Okay, now we are